I Love Black People Radio on HUR Voices, Sirius XM, Channel 141. I Love Black People is more than a radio show. I Love Black People is a call from our ancestors to protect us from racial profiling all across the world. Go to iloveblackpeople.com and become a member today. Membership empowers you to live fearlessly and protect Black people globally from racism and xenophobia. Join us today and become a member of our global network with an online global green book with Black-owned and Black-friendly businesses to protect you and your community. Membership is free, and with you, we will become 10 million strong worldwide. I am because we are.
And welcome to another amazing episode of I Love Black People. We got a bonus, we got an extra, we got something hot, something amazing. We have the return of our incredible, dynamic, visionary, heroic sister, Captain Jewel. Thank you for coming. Thank you for returning. If I had a trumpet, I would play it. Thank you, sister. Welcome, Black.
Thank you, Sinclair, for having me. It's always a pleasure.
We got to get right into it because there's a lot to cover. It's a big announcement for the Amazon Housing Equity Fund. You've talked about it before. Give us a little bit more of the background, because what they say, unless they know you care, they don't care what you know. Give us the little background of your pieces on this and Amazon, and take us to this exciting, amazing announcement.
That's great. Well, thank you for having me. So as you know, Sinclair, I have the distinct pleasure of running Amazon's Housing Equity Fund. Amazon's Housing Equity Fund is Amazon's $2+ billion to creating or preserving 20,000 affordable housing units in 3 of our hometown communities. We're operating in the Puget Sound, that's in Seattle area in Washington State, in Nashville, Tennessee, and in the Arlington, Virginia, DC area where we located our second headquarters. We call it HQ2. And we're excited this week because we are announcing a significant investment in the District of Columbia proper. We are moving back into those major cities. Earlier this summer, we announced a $23 million investment in Seattle, Washington through Black and Brown firms. And in DC, we're announcing another 9 deals where we're going to have over 1,200 units in the District of Columbia proper. For those who are familiar with Washington, D.C., you know that we have 8 wards in Washington, D.C. We will be located in 6 of those 8 wards. And we're putting affordable housing where it's needed most. We're putting affordable housing on top of the metro station. So we're putting affordable housing in areas of opportunity, as we call them, where they're close to job centers and they're close to commercial centers. We're preserving affordable housing in hip areas like H Street corridor, where affordability is being lost rapidly. And most importantly, we are doing this work primarily through Black and Brown-led organizations. We're doing it with a diverse set of partners, in large part because the District of Columbia is uniquely positioned to have ample Black and Brown developers that a fund like the Amazon Housing Equity Fund can invest through. So we're making those investments not only in a way that impacts the community positively, but also really works with a diverse set of partners. And we're really proud to be able to not only meet this milestone, but meet it in a way that we can be proud to stand next to our partners.
Well, now this is exciting. And I know you wouldn't come with anything but the best of the best. Give us some perspective on these numbers. Right? You're saying numbers, again, once we get past $25, I might get a little, intimidated. Talk about the scale and the magnitude.
Yeah. So most jurisdictions, most cities have small housing production trust funds. We're talking in the $20 million range to have some money to invest in those affordable housing projects that are really difficult to get over the start line. The District of Columbia, Washington, D.C. is actually very unique. We have a mayor in Washington, D.C. who has committed well over $100 million annually to invest in affordable housing. She has recently increased her commitment to affordable housing to over $400 million. By Amazon being able to announce $147 million in a single announcement, it essentially means we are on par with one of the leading jurisdictions who's investing in affordable housing, but investing over and above what any of our corporate peers are doing to actually make affordable housing possible in areas where it is needed most.
Well, you brought up these peers, so I don't know any other Amazon but Amazon. But What typically do corporations do in this area? Are there someone out there lurking, another corporation doing this, or what do they typically contribute as it relates to the issue of affordable housing?
Well, first and foremost, most corporations are not playing in the affordable housing space. Most of the time, when you're talking about affordable housing, you're talking about the advocates who are screaming for more affordable housing. You see the policymakers and the politicians out there saying, I'm listening, I'm doing everything I can. You hear the developers say we need to develop more affordable housing, but rarely do you hear the voice of the corporations coming in and saying, this is a real issue. And what you're seeing more and more is that corporations are concerned about housing affordability. Not only are they concerned about where their employees are going to live, but they're also concerned, just like Amazon is, about what kind of impact we're going to have on the communities in which we live. And so Microsoft was actually the first. They came out with $500 million of a commitment. They've since upped it to $750 million to invest in affordable housing, specifically in the Seattle area. We've seen other major tech companies come out and they've had two multi-billion-dollar commitments. So the size of Amazon's commitment is not necessarily unique. But what is unique about Amazon is we decided, rather than going through a third-party intermediary, rather than going through a housing finance commission or going through one of the leading affordable housing investors like an Enterprise Community Development Partners, we decided to go at it directly so that we could move at the speed of market. And what does this mean for people who are listening? What it means is that if your property goes up for sale and your property goes up for sale for $50 million, which tends to happen, that property sale happens within a matter of 30 to 90 days. Where are you going to get $50 million to be able to buy your property, keep your property as affordable? Amazon is making that possible. We are helping those mission-driven partners who want to be able to preserve affordability or create affordability where it is needed most, move at the speed of the market, move swiftly, move quickly, and therefore preserve affordability, meaning they're able to acquire properties that are already naturally occurring affordable housing properties and maintain those rents as low, and or build new affordable housing projects where they're needed, for example, right above public transportation so that people can get to and from work very easily. And provide pre-development, easy access, flexible cash and capital to Black and Brown developers. We've selected 40 of them who are working in 3 of our hometown communities to provide more affordable housing. And so we're doing everything that we can to support what we are calling these emerging developers. Many of them already do real estate development. They just don't have quite the portfolio in affordable housing in particular. And so we're helping them build that out. But so that we can have those locally grown, diverse partners that we can then call on next time we have a large tranche of money to say, hey, can you help us reinvest in your communities, in your hometowns in a way that you would also be proud of using the Amazon capital and using the Amazon dollars?
Well, all right. Well, how can they best get in contact with you? What's the best way? Because I know this is a lot and very, again, impactful. How can people get more information for where they live, or even the folks in DC and developers also? What would be the best way for them?
Well, please visit us at amazon.com/housing equity. We would love for you to learn more about the work that we're doing. It is very difficult for us to explain that a tech company really is out there moving mountains in the world of affordable housing, but we consider ourselves to be moving mountains in the world of affordable housing. We are almost halfway through our 20,000 unit goal. We have, as of September 2022, we will have reached over 9,000 units across the 3 jurisdictions that we are investing in. We're very proud of all of our commitments and our investments, and we're moving very fast. So I encourage everybody to please visit us at amazon.com/housing equity to learn more about the work that we're doing.
Well, all right, y'all got it. You heard it, and let's support it. And thank you, sister, for even coming and sharing yourself with us. I know so many folks are proud, and so many folks are just inspired by your work. I'm definitely inspired. I know this weekend coming up, Morehouse is going to get defeated by Howard University, but I don't see that as any friction. You being a Spelman alum, but
Exactly.
I had to throw a little something on it, But thank you, Catherine. And as we always say, I am because we are, and I definitely wouldn't be me without you, Catherine. Thank you.
Thank you, Sinclair.
And welcome to another edition of I Love Black People. And we're so blessed and so just been treated with an amazing guest today. Someone I've known for years, a pioneer, a trailblazer, someone who's taken an industry that most people still don't know about by storm and by love and by amazingness, by brilliance. Literally met her in Europe, y'all. So look, this is far away from the United States and literally far away from her homeland. We've been blessed today to have our good sister, amazing sister, Ala Kanani Itireling. Now, listen, yes. I'm trying to make sure I'm saying the name right. Sister Ala Kanani, for our guests, can you say your name? Because we got to put some respect on your name. So I want to make sure, humbly, sister, we want to put respect on you. Please say your name and let the folks know who you are. Thank you for coming.
But you said it right. My name is Ala Kanani Itirele.
I love it. You're so beautiful, sister. All right. So we got through the part that is still the love part, and the other parts are going to be like the brain part. We're going to be talking about tech, and I don't want to have the audience feel uncomfortable because Ala Kanani, if anyone has made this space of blockchain accessible, cryptocurrency accessible to so many of our people, it's you know. So let's kind of give them who you are, your background story, and let's go ahead and take them on this journey.
Thank you, Sinclair. Hi, like I said, my name is Ala Kanani Itireling. I've been in the space, I'll say, since 2012, like the earliest 2012. That's when I got to know about Bitcoin. I learned about Bitcoin when I was trying to take care of my son, who was born with a heart condition called cardiomyopathy. So when I was trying to find ways to make money so that I can be able to take my son for proper medical care, that's when I got across this thing called Bitcoin. During that time, there were a lot of websites where they'll be popping as advertisements, and they'll be saying you can work and then you can earn Bitcoin. I don't know if Bitcoin back then was $20-something. It was really, really small amount. But what was fascinating for me was okay, this is more than $1 and definitely more than my Botswana pula. So if I can sit down and work a little extra, I can be able to maybe eventually be able to get the money that I want so that I can take my son outside the country so that he can get that heart and lung transplant, which is what he needed. So I went through that process of trying to get online, but I never got anything. And unfortunately, my son passed away in April on the 12th, 2012. Yeah. And then I stayed for some time. I never went back online again. And I forgot a little bit about Bitcoin and everything that I have come across or I have learned during that time. And then something just happened in, I think it was 2013, and I was just seated. By then I had been transferred from where I was teaching first. I used to teach in a rural area, and then I was transferred to Gaborone. So when I was in Gaborone, that thing again visited my mind. I said, okay, I've learned about this thing called Bitcoin. Maybe I should just go and read a little bit more. So I went and I studied, and I didn't really get it that much, but something was happening in my mind. I was like, okay, I had wanted to help my son with this Bitcoin thing. What if I take the same help and I take some of my friends and then I teach them about Bitcoin? I think that's when I had my first meetup. That was in 2013. I think we were about 10 of us, like my friends and people that I know, and some friends brought some friends. There were only 10 of us, and then we had this first Bitcoin meetup, which I did not really have a lot of information, about what Bitcoin was really is. At that moment, I was driven by the value, and I was like, okay, if people can be able to supplement what they earn from their work, maybe it can make their lives better. So that's when my Bitcoin meetups grew from there, and as I was growing, I got to learn a lot during that time, and I was able to get more people coming until 2014. I attended the first, for me, it was the first Bitcoin meetup that was outside of my country. That was in Amsterdam, Bitcoin 2014. Yes, and I met Sinclair there. And
Woo, we
another
met.
brother.
That's where we met, sis.
Yeah.
No doubt. We was all the way in Amsterdam. That was a long way away from home for both of us. So, like, awesome.
Yeah.
All right, I apologize. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
I started interrupting. Go
Yeah.
ahead.
That's when I met you and John Karanja. And when I was there, I got to learn about a lot of things that were happening beside only looking at the value of cryptocurrency. So I began to know that there is a lot of things that we can build, a lot of solutions that we can build on the Bitcoin blockchain. And I came back home. I still continued with my meetups, teaching people about Bitcoin and giving away a lot of Bitcoins. Man, I gave away a lot of Bitcoins. Sometimes I say like, "Can I not giving them up?"
Right, right. Most of them lost them. I did the same thing. And most folks lost them. They don't even have them. Like,
Yeah,
if we had just, we probably did better by them by holding on and
I
buying them
would
a
have.
Christmas gift. We could just bought Christmas gifts and just kept it. And like,
Oh
oh my God,
man.
right. So
Yeah,
right.
but that's how I started. Yes, yeah, that's how I started.
Okay, so now I think that some of this stuff is just give our listeners even more help with this. You talked about the Pula, which is the local currency in Botswana, so that folks understand that Pula. And when you're talking about even access to the US dollar, access to other types of currencies, oftentimes on the continent of Africa, in many countries, the Europeans often control the monetary systems, and the value often of our local currencies aren't as powerful as these other ones. And then Bitcoin gave you access, or was one of the ways to get access to a more powerful currency. So I
Yeah,
definitely get, just for folks who may not get why it would be important to have access to a digital native currency that has a more consistent value, and then being able to did you use local Bitcoins? Like, how was it to get in and out?
yes.
I mean, I
Oh
know
man,
people talk
it
about
was
Binance,
challenging.
all these other things, but I remember, was that,
Yeah,
was it Bitcoin? What was it called? I just said it.
local
Local,
Bitcoin.
yeah, local Bitcoins, yeah. So
Yeah.
how
So
was that? How was that?
for me, I before I discovered local Bitcoin, I was on Facebook, and I will be, after connecting to a lot of people, like you'll connect with people because they have read your story, maybe on YouTube, but then they start connecting with people on Facebook. And there were times that I even lost my Bitcoin. I remember I lost 3 Bitcoin to some person that I don't even know, because he was talking to me on Facebook and we were chatting. He was like, "I'm a Bitcoiner, I was following your story." And then we started talking about Bitcoin and everything. And I was like, the most difficult thing for me is to change the Bitcoin to Botswana Pula. Then he said, "Okay, no, I can be able to help you, and I can be able to send you some money via Western Union." And I sent my BTC, and it disappeared and never came back online. So he won't
Listen,
get my BTC.
no. Listen, I think, and we've probably had these conversations before, and I
Yeah,
think sometimes people, because I got for like almost like 50
yeah,
Bitcoin back in 2018. So, and that was
that's
a
long.
sim. Yeah, it was good.
Yeah,
Yes, it was the SIM swaps. They got me with the SIM
wow.
swap. They actually stole my actual phone number, and I was over in Zim, and I thought it was just I was getting bad, reception. I was roaming. I
Yeah,
just thought my phone wasn't working, and come to find out, while I was on the continent of Africa, there was folks in the United States who had plans for me, and yeah, so that was tragic. And so I think being in this space,
yeah.
there's
You learn a lot
hacker.
of things.
You learn
Yeah,
a lot of things, but
yeah,
we pay
yeah,
tuition. We pay
yeah,
tuition to learn these things. So God
yeah,
bless the fact that
yeah.
we
So,
still are here. Yeah.
but later on, I learned about local Bitcoins, and I was able to use it properly. I was able to, for me, the biggest thing was for me to like learn things on my own, because at that moment we did not have like a community in Botswana where I can have somebody teaching me what to do things and how to do things. So most of the time I was teaching things myself. I'll have to like sit down and read and understand how local Bitcoin work, and read about escrows, and make sure that all the things that I learned I implement and then do it on my own. And then after I have done that, then I can take the knowledge and transfer it to the people that I was teaching. So I discovered local Bitcoin. That was way before there were exchanges. So I use a lot of local Bitcoin. That's why I was exchanging my BTC. Yeah.
Do you think it's still, I've been using uh, a host of different exchanges. Is local Bitcoin still popular in Botswana, or would you say people are using like Binance or some of these other
Now,
things?
in Botswana, we've got an exchange that is actually, we've got an exchange here that has been operating since 2019, a yellow card. And there is another exchange that is going to be coming, which is like a local exchange, which is going to be coming, opening on the 1st of October. So now exchanges are coming in, and some people are also using Binance. Like, for example, Binance has got like a lot of coins that people maybe instead of them wanting to buy Bitcoin, they want to buy those coins maybe for investment purposes or for building their portfolios. So a lot of them will be using Binance because Binance has got a variety of them, and also it allows people to use their debit cards to buy tokens in their, unlike yellow card, which does not allow people to use. It doesn't have that provision for people to use cards. So Binance allows that.
So
Yeah.
yellow card, what does it use? Use mobile
Now
money?
you have to transfer money from your bank account, like EFT, or going through an ATM to go and deposit by ATM. So it doesn't do that. It doesn't do cards.
Okay, and then with Binance, they actually are taking debit cards from
They're
local
actually
banks.
taking debit cards. Yeah.
Okay, that's real. Okay.
Yeah, and CX also, it's allowing people to use debit cards.
And then South Africa, they got, was it Luna? I'm probably not
They've got
saying it.
they've got a lot of exchanges in South Africa, I think. They've got Luna, they've got also Yellow Card. Binance is also operating there, and people can withdraw their South African rents. I think for now they can, and they've got like a variety. They've got Valry. They've got like a lot of exchanges. Yeah, they have a lot of exchanges in South Africa.
When you look at the rates on these exchanges for the different crypto, are they higher than the rates that you see maybe in Europe or in the United States, or do you think
I think it's possibly similar.
Okay, praise God.
Yeah.
Those are the things I know when we did with BitMari and we're dealing with remittances, the fees that were being charged in Zimbabwe by Western Union and MoneyGram were so high that when we tried to use this as a solution, it was much cheaper for everybody. But again, I think as time has gone by, I pray that the cost of these conversions are lower. So now that we're here, now people basically caught up. I mean, maybe your family members thought you were crazy, and now I know none of your family ever thought you were crazy. I know mine thought I was crazy. But now, what do you say? Taking it from 2012, 13 in our industry, and now let's take us to 2022. What do you see some of the big differences? Because you're like an OG. I mean, you're young, but I'm just saying you've been here now. So let's talk about what some of these changes have been.
For me, I think the biggest change now we are more after profit than really like empowering people. Like I do believe the whole idea Satoshi brought the Bitcoin white paper, or decided to come up with the Bitcoin solution, was for people to be able to have control over their finances. Mostly, that was the whole idea. But now, for people to be able to know how to have control over their finances, they need to be really understand and know things. But nowadays, it's more of how can we make profit of the people. So I think that's what has, at the end of the day, drawn a lot of scams in the continent. That there are a lot of scammers in the continent, and there are a lot of people. Like for me, I even have gone through a lot on social media because people will be using my picture, and they'll be creating fake accounts and all that, because people now believe that with Bitcoin it's all about making money. It's no longer about how can I have control over my finances. It's about as much profit can I make. So even the businesses that are coming, it's like the scramble for Africa all over again. Everybody is scrambling to come to Africa so that they can make as much as possible. But at the same time, the question is, are we, end of the day, empowering the people, or we're just after filling our pockets? Yeah, maybe somebody can say, maybe they can say they can have a different view, but for me, it's difficult now. Things have changed. People are more of, how can we make profit, and what kind of profit can I give you? Like, if you say, okay, let me help me educate people about what Big Mari solution is bringing to the people. You are not very much interested in my information that I'm going to give to the people. You are interested more into what can you get out of the people thereafter. I think that's the biggest shift that I see. So our aim is to teach people how to fish, to help African startups building solutions for the problems that we are facing in Africa. So in last week, or if it's not 2 weeks, we appointed a new CEO for Satoshi Center, who is a Kenyan. The guy based in Kenya is called Frank Dare. He's a young man, so we thought, we need a fresh blood, young blood that can be able to carry the vision of Satoshi Center properly and run it without hiccups.
We salute you, sister, and we thank you. And with
you.
that being said, please, thank you. We always ended up with I am, because we are, and I definitely wouldn't be me without you. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much.
This is I Love Black People Radio on HUR Voices, Sirius XM channel 141. I Love Black People is more than a radio show. I Love Black People is a call from our ancestors to protect us from racial profiling all across the world. Go to iloveblackpeople.com and become a member today. Membership empowers you to live fearlessly and protect Black people globally from racism and xenophobia. Join us today and become a member of our global network with an online global green book with Black-owned and Black-friendly businesses to protect you and your community. Membership is free, and with you, we will become 10 million strong